Hey guys, I'm gonna be teaching you about virtual machines, what are they, and how they can benefit you, as we'll be using them in these labs. Now, take in mind when we're using these virtual machines, they're going to require a minimum amount of storage on your computer. Now, you can store the virtual machines on your actual computer or an external hard drive. Just ensure that you have the necessary storage for the virtual machines. Now, we're going to be using Virtualbox, which is completely free. You don't have to pay for any software, and the images are also completely free. You use them and download Linux, Windows OSs, and more. Now, there's some best practices when you're using these virtual machines. One is to keep them either on your computer or an external hard drive. Now I'll be keeping them on a separate drive from my C drive because I don't want them to take up all the storage on my C drive. So just take it into mind, and also you have to be worried about VMware sprawl, which occurs when you lose track of your virtual machines and you no longer have accountability of them. So just make sure you keep track of where you're putting them and how many you have. Now we're going to be using a type 2 virtual machine. And so what we're going to have is we're going to have our host operating system. So in this case, it's going to be a Windows 10. And then you're going to have your hypervisor. On top of your hypervisor, you're going to be having your virtual machines, which is really just a file that contains an operating system. That's all it is, a folder that contains an operating system. Okay. Now, also ensure to enable VM virtual machines within the BIOS of your computer. Okay, so you might have to go into your BIOS settings and enable Hyper-V or enable the use of virtual machines. Now, why should you use a virtual machine? One, they're completely free and they reduce the cost of having to go out and buy some computers to set up a lab. Two, it's really easy to set them up, and also there's somewhat a security benefit because whatever you download from the internet, you're downloading onto a virtual machine. Let's say you have a virtual machine that is isolated from your host machine. You download something from the internet. Now, your host machine won't get infected with it, although there are cases where there's certain malware that can break from the virtual machine and infect the host machine. But there's a security benefit there that you don't have to worry about the malware infecting your host machine. Okay. Now, I think this is the best option. If you're still on the fence about it, just comment below and let me know whatever concerns you may have, and we'll talk about it. But that's all, and I hope you enjoyed this video.